Words of intention. Intention.
The more awareness. Sorry, JC.
You're good.
What came to me was the more awareness we have, the more space there is, the more clarity there is and energy there is to the intention.
Your word of alignment.
Mm. Mm.
Aligning the intention.
Mm-hmm.
The pursuit of whatever possibility there are. Wasn't pursue your word?
Yes. pursuing, aligning intentions.
And that's collaboration.
Yes, and focus.
Mm.
Expanding space. Adding time. Bowing. Bowing to the expanding space.
Mm.
Expanding space to pursue. Focused alignment, intention.
That's honoring the momentum in life, which is the essence of life.
Yes. Collaborating the expansion of life. Where two gather. 2 or 3, 2 and 3. The seed of life. Everything contained in that seed.
Mm.
Trusting that seed. Nurturing the potential. The intention of the seed. The expansion.
And this morning, Craig.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me this morning?
Real good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Good morning.
And the seed holds memory. And that memory gets expanded and creates new memory.
Yeah, the seed already knows what it is and what it's meant to become.
So it knows its intention. And we all have that too.
and aligns to its environment.
Mm-hmm.
Expands into its environment. Pursuing the light, the intention, the expansion.
Pursuing the light, the promise, the potential. No matter what the environment throws at it. the seed can take root and grow anywhere it's planted.
And even if it's upside down when it's planted, it will align itself with the sun and grow the right way.
And then there are
Always toward the
environments.
light.
Sorry, Craig. Yes, always towards the light. And then there are environments in which seeds cannot survive. So it's a collaboration that takes place between an ideal enough environment and the memory of the seed.
I saw a strange tumbleweed in a program. It could drift around for 2-3 years, and
Yeah.
it felt exactly now it's about to rain. Then it would pluck down and make roots and had the most beautiful flowers, but that wasn't what it was about. It was all about making the seed and having them being washed away.
Yeah.
And then would just go back to slumber again and roll on. 3 or 4 years just drifting, tuk, tuk, and then all of a sudden, ding. That's intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Nice one, Don.
And you got those cactuses that only bloom every 10 or 20 years.
Mm.
Nature is amazing.
So
And we
much
are
to
nature.
celebrate. Sorry, Jesse.
Just vowing that we are nature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So part of celebrating ourselves.
Mm-hmm. On Thanksgiving Day.
Celebrating true nature.
Humans have tried to separate themselves a little from nature by making law of nature and law of humans.
Mm. Sorry to say this, but showing how dumb we are.
Yeah.
Or can be. Not are. How dumb we can be.
It's pretty easy to think that our current reality and our true nature are the same thing.
Mm. It's that ancient future you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Where we get to go back to our natural state.
Yeah, yeah. Beyond what is assumed to be normal.
Mm. Then assumptions would disappear and it would only be the known that people would do in.
Yeah.
Back to or expand into.
Great one.
The power of the intention.
I was thinking about that. Synchronicity.
Mm.
And at the same time, we are aligning with it again.
Realigning.
Mm. So we have the seed of life, which has all this intelligence and potential. And somehow we have to find the other part within us that will collaborate with that potential. Because if we don't realize the potential of the life that we have. And so there's that question, what am I? What is this part of me that collaborates with what I am given? And when we give our intention and focus to the discovery of what that is through experience, we expand life.
And all the life that we've experienced comes back into awareness.
I imagine that when we get into the heart of experience, it's not only ours. And so we dance from one vibration to the next, from one form to the next. And with our love, we connect. With our compassion, we connect.
With our love, we grow roots.
And then we bloom and spread our seeds.
There you go. We got it all wrapped up, guys.
But only in the rain.
Or with the right nourishment.
Mhm. So we go from form to formless, back to form, back to formless. And that's the momentum. Just feel the impact of that. I have a little story to contribute. So it was a student and his teacher. And the student asks, oh God, it's gone. The student asks, how do I get to know, how do I get to know love? And the teacher, no, how do I get to know people? Sorry. And the teacher says, feed them. And then he asks, how do I get to know God? And he says, serve people. And just think of all the layers that represents.
Pausing the silence. Where were you? What were you dreaming? Where were you drifting? And what could that mean? Is putting attention on the expansion. And its only true meaning is for you. But what might it reveal? What might it say? What seed may it have planted? What is its intention?
Blessed be everybody. I have to go. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks,
blessed
Allison. You too.
Big love, Allison.
It's like this quiet space is our intention workshop. Creative space. Seed, the seed generation. And out of everything, you were working that thing. Maybe many things, and maybe nothing.
A place to play.
Like the tumbleweed, just going with the flow right now. Waiting for the right.
Can't hear you, Heinz.
Like the tumbleweed I talked about. Just going with the flow right now and waiting for the right environment or whatever to plant roots and spread the seeds. But mostly I'm trying to figure out where and what I want to do. I think that's the big question for me always when people say, so what do you want to do? Well, I actually haven't found out yet. I enjoy myself as I am, but I know there's way more to it than this, but I don't want to go back to the old program that what's next, what's next, what's next. I actually want to put my intention on this and see where the flow takes me. Just like you did, Craig, when you went on your trip.
Yeah,
It was not about the destination, it was about the journey.
yeah. Yeah, and your heart already knows where it's going.
We just need the patience to listen to it.
Yeah, yeah, and to follow it.
Yep. The pursue of the heart. To use Jesse's word, pursue. And it's like each day it's getting clearer and clearer, but it's still not the picture. But I get more and more pieces of the puzzle. Like the new friend I made, like all things, it's sort of letting me use what we are doing here in the reality around me. And sort of spreading a few seeds there by teaching her about what she already knows.
Yeah,
But like we were at the beginning, it's hard to be alone with it and then know that it's actually the way other people also do it. So the more we work together, the more we get to explore ourselves and get more perspective on the truth of it all. but I know I'm on the right course because my heart is blissful and I'm smiling, maybe not on the outside, but the inside is a grin from ear to ear. So whatever I'm doing, it can't be wrong.
Yeah, there really is no right or wrong.
No, there's expansive or contraction. And I feel so expansive.
You know, there's only choice.
Mm.
As if humanity took a detour into dark energy. And we're here to lead her out of it. Back toward the light. That's why the seed metaphor is so potent today. Because a seed is a light-seeking missile.
That has been planted in darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Unaware of the true nature, the instinct, the intention.
You know, potatoes
Seeking
don't
the
do
light.
anything. Potatoes don't do anything when they're in the light. But when you put them in the dark, they sprout.
Do seeds do anything in the light?
No, they stay dormant.
That's the beauty with seeds. There are so many different of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
And I'm sure some do. I just don't know of any.
and they work together to create harmony.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, seeds need darkness and they need something to soften their shell.
I assume in our silence, we all go somewhere. Somewhere in our mind, somewhere in our heart, somewhere. For me, it was just somewhere in the darkness because my eyes are closed, drifting around. And where I was not that it matters, but for what it's worth, I was dreaming of oil wells,
Hmm.
a new completion, we call it, how to operate. Several days ago, I read a paper on it. It was like interesting. And in that space this morning, I was thousands of feet below the surface, watching it work, playing it through, operating it,
Mm.
understanding the mechanics of it, the flow of it, the heat. How would we do it this way? What about this? All the operational components to it. Why? I don't know. But I was lost in it,
Mm.
flowing with it, dreaming of it. Is it better? It's different. And just by asking, is it better? Oh, it wasn't anything I considered. So now I look at it from that perspective, that focus. What is better? More oil faster. That's better. Lower cost, maybe. Probably not. But in exchange for the two, so what would that reveal about my purpose, my intention, my expansion? I don't know. But it is what, and it wasn't like I chose it, but it was what was chosen in that moment. It was where I was drifting.
Mm.
It's where I was immersed. It's where I was, and yet I was here. The imaginary workshop,
Mhm.
the imaginary playground. Where I had lost track of time and space. Lost track of everything else, but right in that moment, just what was happening, why I was like just playing with it. And then as soon as I come out and put focus on it, I'm not there anymore. Now I'm just reflecting on it, thinking about it, recalling it, replaying it. And if you walked it all the way through, then it would be bringing the idea into form is part of the choice. So it could be choosing to collaborate to bring it into existence. Is that do this? How about that? And like that is the creation cycle, the manifestation cycle. But I also honor I didn't come up with the idea.
Do you mean that the idea came to you?
It was someone else's creation that had the idea, that took the time to write a thesis on it. And
Okay.
I happened to find it online. It's like, oh, wasn't even looking for that 2 days ago, right? And then hadn't given it another thought between then and now. And then this morning in the silence, I was 1,000 feet below the surface watching it work, putting the pieces together. I became steam and I became oil in the sand of a well of the formation, seeing it, how it would work, how it would flow.
You got the personal tour.
Yeah, super conscious creator mode.
Playing with it, it's easy to move the pieces around and say, oh, looking at it from here and there. And it was as if it was a screen, like a cutout of the well in the formation. And I could just watch the things go. What about this? How about that? Right? All with the understanding of the mechanics of how I imagine it works. It's like I imagine you guys went somewhere too.
Your imagination probably made it run 100% more effective.
No, it worked perfectly. Right.
And you got to see it from the inside also when you were the oil.
Like, how would I move if I was the oil? How would I move? How would I flow? What if it was here? What about there? Bringing into focus. How would we increase the recovery? How would we produce more of it? How would we improve it? It's like that was just every now and again a focus like that would come up.
Questioning everything.
Inside the possibilities, right?
Expanding on the creation itself.
It's really interesting how it all laid out right in front of you.
And how it was just flowing, right? When I couldn't, like as soon as I was to put attention or focus on it, it would pull me out of it, right? Because now as I talk about it, it's completely different. I'm I'm recalling, I'm reflecting.
Yeah. You got to observe it.
Uh-huh.
You participate with it.
And now it's like playing with a memory. It's like, oh man, that happens all the time in our silence. You know, it was like daydreaming. Oh man, how much daydreaming do we do? How much daydreaming do we allow ourselves to do? Not much, because the world would say, okay, what are you going to do with that next? What does that mean? Like, make it now, do that. And it's like, oh, maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's not time yet. I don't know. I'm just honoring what was there.
Just doing what you did, going with the flow.
That's right. Just went with the momentum and didn't have the intention in the moment of doing it. But I didn't have the intention of stopping it either.
Let your intention ride.
Mhm. It's like so like that's what I find is important in our sessions of the silence. Because if someone's now, like I'm going to say not in our group, like what we do, but if other quote groups I've been a part of, where they're talking all the time, right? There isn't space for that. And that's the majority of groups is a leader talking. Yeah. Like and that's perfect because it is an expression of ideas, but they're not ideas that are fostered together. Like so much better to this is it. And then like what we do is we expand it. I get Heinz's view, Allison's view, Craig's view.
It's like taking the time to stop and smell the roses and then talking about them after.
Together like and it's like your experience combined with my experience amplifies it. It's not just one experience is better than the other. That's slow.
Yeah, and we had a part in creating your oil vision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it was in the time of something of yours, right? It was like my oil vision helped create your space, the synchronicity. We'll never know, right? We'll never have an idea unless we look at it and say, oh, I wonder how that influenced what I was doing. See, then we talk about it again.
Getting more and more perspective on it.
Mhm. collaborating, cooperating, aligning, coming together, expanding. And sure as hell, I don't know how to make money with it, but like how people in workshops that are leading them, that have a bunch of people together who are listening, they've got that one figured out, right? There's people that got that one figured out. And not that it has to make money, but it's just looks at it from how people are organizing it, like their intentions.
They're looking at it with a materialistic view.
Some are, you know what, some aren't. I just say, that one's not for me. That's how I say it. Because it's part of that. It's like, God, there's something bigger in it, right? There's something better in it. And I'm slow because it's taken us a year, right? And we're only here. If I brought in one of those other people, right, to look at it, they would laugh. Different intentions.
Well, one of them is probably listening to it to see if there actually is any good ideas within the ideas. Something they can prosper from.
Right. It's like, oh, that is, and that is beautiful. It's like, oh, yes. Contributing to that. I mean, that was what that paper did, right? And that the author of that paper, this college student that came up with this thesis, probably had no idea that would, I would read it 2 days ago and today I'd be talking about it. Why would he or she? Except for the desire, the intention to write the thesis, to post it there, to pop up in my search. Wasn't even looking for that.
Maybe it wasn't that you wasn't looking, maybe it needed to be shown to you.
Yes, exactly. Why? I don't know, Heinz.
Well, it's about flow.
Right? Honoring the expansion, honoring the space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, damn, the timing. Oh, it's been a while since we put some talk on the timing. The timing. Oh,
Well, the timing is always now.
it's when
Don't
we
always
start
know what.
to.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry, you go.
I want to hear yours.
We don't always know what we get from the field or whatever, but it knows when we need it.
Yes, oh, so much better than what I could have said. And where I was going with it is the timing of expectation, like the pressure of that time, the pressure to say, oh, like, it's there, so go do something with it.
And probably somebody who's building something like that actually needed both the paper and our talk.
Mm-hmm.
So we are sort of a catalyst for someone else.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we'll probably never know.
Nope. It's not like they're gonna put our name on it. Thought up while listening to Genius Intel.
Yeah.
And then a million other would listen to us and say, how the hell did he come up with that idea while listening to this?
Right. Interesting. It was like even before that, I was playing with like a new name for the channel, right? A new name. It's like, oh, it's like, so it was like the first time that was in the awareness in a while. I was like, okay, new name. What does that mean? What does that look like? Really, these random thoughts that aren't so random.
Mm-hmm. Because the brain doesn't come up with new ideas. It's the field that gives you those.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to allow myself to say, yes, that's where they come from. For me, it just gives so much more space.
Mm-hmm.
Just because how I see or how I understand, it sounds like we're similar in that. Is like that's how I find it works for me.
Yeah, and me too.
Same here.
And someone that doesn't may or may not wonder and ask themselves, oh, I wonder what this field thing is. Oh, cool.
And no, it ain't happening on Sunday football. It's not the football field. Just giving them a clue.
That's right. And nor is theirs the same as mine.
Nope.
But if you close your eyes and sit in the silence and just allow what to show up, then you'll see it. You see yours, right?
Yeah.
See, most people that weren't aware couldn't come in and listen to our recording because there's not enough talk. It's that silence. So it's like, oh no, I'm wasting my time in the silence is the common perception.
Mm-hmm.
Which is saying I'm not giving them, I'm not filling their silence. Exactly. Well, that can't be valuable because I'm not valuable. Ah, there you go.
Mm.
It depends on what kind of value you're searching.
That's right. Exactly. And getting value from someone else, yes, it shouldn't be the primary driver. It was for me for a long time. Because I wasn't good enough, right? My silence wasn't enough, or I was conditioned to say, oh, we can't have the silence.
Well, when you gotta look at it, you should think about getting value. You should think about giving value to your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and broadcasting, that's called dead air. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Dead. Nobody wants to listen to dead air.
Well, it's healthy for the junk DNA.
Yeah.
All those wrong words.
Same concept.
And you can just think of like, so when someone's talking, right, it's not dead air. So like, what is that then? It's like, ugh.
They would probably call this dying air.
Yeah, there's this habit of overlooking anything that's dormant.
The seed.
Mhm.
A seed. Yeah, exactly.
Sleeps through the winter and springs out in spring.
Yeah. An acorn is an oak that's asleep
Mhm.
We can think
and
of
silent,
potential.
apparently.
Yeah. Potential too. Those are all in the potential. Expansion doesn't exist until we give it the idea. We give it the focus, we give it the label, we give it the word.
Yeah, potential doesn't exist either until you give it some space.
That's right. Which is what we practice. We practice a few words that show up first thing. First 20 minutes, right? Is work to be somewhat silence with words that pop to us, that say, that urge us to say, oh, we've got to share this. Oh, okay. And then the whole call, we're just focusing in that domain. We're always looking for tying back, connecting into. Sounds like creation to me.
Yeah, sounds like creativity to me too.
Mm-hmm. Something
An extremely
from
practical form of it.
nothing. Mm-hmm. And a practice that we're probably not very skilled in.
No, but we're learning.
Yeah. And I say we as a population.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't give ourselves the space for our creations, right? We're always looking at other people's out there, take from them, get from them, feeling uncomfortable with the silence.
Well, and being uncomfortable with our own genius.
There you go. Our own creations, which is ridiculous.
And then when they come up with new ideas, they ask them, where did you get it? Oh, I got it in my sleep, in the silence.
In my daydream. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So they actually use the silence more than they even know, but it's the forced silence. They feel like, oh, I have to force myself. No, you have to relax it with it.
Relax it.
Flow with it. Feel into it.
Whereas
Because like you
Annette
said
would
about,
call,
like you said about the oil, as soon as you tried to force it, you went out of it.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, force is not helpful.
It makes you change brain waves to
You know,
beta and
neither is
alpha.
a deadline.
Yeah.
And pressure, right? Pressure. They're structures. They're structures for sure. They're structures that we've created. Just unaware.
And as soon as we create the structures, we create limitations because we're boxing it in instead of just letting it flow. The structure needs to be fluid so it can expand on its own.
Oh, great morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you for a trip down the oil wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been sweet today.
It's always sweetening when we get to explore something new.
Yeah.
You both have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Heinz.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all you too.
Yeah. Thanksgiving to you.
Bye. Love and hugs.
Till next time.
Yeah, love and
Bye.
hugs.